Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Great LeadHERship Awakening Virtual Summit. This day just keeps getting better. The summit keeps getting better. Each conversation is just like we're being washed over with not even just so much knowledge, but so much beauty, so much inspiration, so much hope. And that's exactly what I know we're going to feel in today's conversation with best-selling author, wellness coach, and caregiver, Aryana Charise. Aryana, welcome to the stage.
Thank you so much, Kaylee. It's such a pleasure to be here with you. I also want to acknowledge all the other guests who are here with us today, and a special warm welcome to Linda Fisk. I would not be here had it not been for Linda, who introduced me to you, Kaylee. And Linda, you are amazing with LeadHERship Global. Thank you for your support and leadership. And thank you, Kaylee, for all you've done to make this book such a success. It's so much fun on this journey.
The fun factor is important. And like, of course, it's like with our powers combined, it's like this is one of those like 1 + 1 does not equal 2. All of us coming together is exponential in its impact. And what the audience doesn't know about you, Aryana, is that you came to Beverly Hills, California last Friday for like 16 hours, like flew across the country for the book party and flew back. And we know from Shiri's conversation today that it's a good thing to be called crazy. And so I'm like, that was crazy. And now I know that's a good thing. Like, what possessed you and what did it feel like to spend that day in all the time zones and celebrating your launch?
It was incredible. From the day you announced that we were getting together in California, I've got to be there. And I looked at my calendar and I said, oh my, how am I out? And I just had to work it out. So I checked flights. I was able to fly from Atlanta. Thank goodness we have so many flights going out to Cali and catch the red eye back. And it worked out perfectly. So I didn't have to cancel, reschedule any appointments. It just flowed. I didn't have much sleep, but I did sleep on the plane. So it worked out well.
Well, I was just so impressed that you were there. The schedule for that day, it was so nice to hug you, to be with you in person, to celebrate this huge accomplishment together. And yeah, call us crazy. It's a good thing. So let's talk about you. Let's talk about your story, Chosen, and your chapter. And as you and I were talking behind the scenes, what really struck me about your contribution and your awakening, where you focus on caregiving, is just how important the women in your family have been. And so I want to talk about your mom, about your great grandmother, about your grandmother, but just to open, tell us about what it's meant to be chosen and the influence these women have had on you.
I'm truly fortunate, Kaylee, to have grown up with so many wonderful role models who, ever since I was a child, was just there, supportive, helping me make decisions that impact who I am today. Everything from studying hard, being the best in school, to excelling in sports, to even my great grandmother. She was a seamstress and she was very talented. She didn't even need to measure a person, she could look at them and create spectacular garments. And she encouraged me. She lived to be 101. And she said, baby, when I leave, who's going to carry on the sewing in the family? And I was compelled to learn how to sew after that one conversation. And I learned how to sew, and it's been amazing. So things like that I'm just so grateful to have such caring, such entrepreneurial, such generous relatives who guided me along the way to help form the woman I am today.
And so this was your, was this your great, this was Clyde, yeah? The seamstress?
We called her Mama Clyde. Yes.
Mama Clyde. So she gave you this like this entrepreneurial mindset, and then you go on to talk about, I think it's Beatrice, that you're like, she showed me love and compassion. Talk to us a little bit about her, and then we're going to focus on your mom and what you shared in your chapter about that relationship. But tell us more about Beatrice's impact.
Yes, Beatrice was my great grandmother as well. And I learned when I was younger that she was actually a miracle baby because her crib caught on fire when she was an infant. And thank goodness someone rescued her, or I wouldn't be here talking to you now. And I learned so much. She was such a courageous woman. I mean, she was disciplined. Anything she said she was going to do, you could count on it. She did it, and she did it with such tenacity and with such enjoyment that she made anything fun. So I learned so much from Beatrice as well. I'm so grateful for all my grandmothers. Yes.
It's your, I mean, your chapter read is as an homage. And as you're sharing this about your great grandmother and like the miracle, right, that she lived and now you're here. Fun fact about me, I have a great grandmother who is a nun. Now, she didn't become a nun until after she had children. And when her husband passed away, she was like, all right, I'm going into the convent. And she
Yeah.
ended up starting a candy factory in the convent because that was her job prior. And they still make Trappistine Abbey candy in Massachusetts. But I'm just thinking, I'm like, ooh, there's a little bit of, yeah, that entrepreneurial, I'm like, I'm going to do things the way that I want to, spirit.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing.
Um, so you open your chapter talking about, and your chapter is titled not just chosen, but how caregiving is at the core of female leadership. And you
Yeah.
talk about what it was like caring for your mom through a chronic illness and in such a beautiful way. I mean, the ups and the downs, but bring us back into that moment and what it was like for you to, you're coming from this high powered career too, and now focusing on caring for your mom. What was that like? And we'll talk about what you learned from that.
Wow, it has been a journey to say the least, Kaylee, because when I got the call, I knew my mom had had several surgeries. She had a knee replacement and a hip replacement. And she went through physical therapy, but it didn't go as planned. And she decided that she didn't want to go back to physical therapy. And unfortunately, her muscles atrophied. So we had to figure out what to do because she was in chronic pain from the time she woke up to the time she went to sleep. It was unbearable. So I decided to jump in and see what I could do to help. And I had never experienced such a thing. So it was starting from ground zero. And I started meeting with her doctors and asking questions and just really determined to find out how to get her some help. And we came across a doctor, oh my gosh, who did a test and determined that there was a lot of mineral deficiencies, which I had not thought about.
Mm.
And I learned the importance of having magnesium and potassium and sodium because if the levels are low, it can cause joint pain, it can cause high blood pressure. She had a lot going on because of the mineral deficiencies. So we
Mm.
began to go to work because at that point it was so low. She lost the use of her left foot. She couldn't walk. So I had to
Mm.
go get a wheelchair. And I was like, oh my, this is terrible. And I just felt so sad that she could not. My mom, she's a world traveler. She loves to travel and loves to be on the go. So for her to be in the bed all day,
Mm.
this was just unbelievable. And I knew we had to do something about it. So again, I worked with the physical therapist. It takes a team. And I'm so glad that being a leader, I was able to transfer my leadership skills to care for my mother because my mother means the world to me. And I knew that we had to get her some help. So when she woke up on Christmas Day, I said, Mama, how do you feel? Merry Christmas. And she said, I don't have any pain. I leaped for joy. I was so excited because by this time we had been working about 6 months
Yeah.
consistent. I put her on an exercise program. I started cooking because she was eating processed food that was not working. So we got rid of all the sweets, all the cakes, the cookies. We got rid of those and we replaced them with fruit and made sure she had fresh water to drink and nutritious meals. It was amazing. I even cooked some of the recipes that she taught me how to cook as a child. So
Mm.
it's been fun letting her see that all of her love was not in vain because now I could help take care of her. So to see her back on her feet, she's walking without the wheelchair it's just so amazing. And I'm so grateful to be a part of her journey.
Mm. Well, we'll talk about the leadership lessons from this experience of supporting your mom in this way. But of course, the first question that came to mind was, has your mom been able to read your chapter?
Yes, and she loves it. She was amazing that the chapter was about her. I said, Mom, thanks to you. Yes, I was able to inspire other people not to give up,
Mm.
not to throw in the towel when you're working a full-time job and doing what you love. And when a loved one gets sick, you just have to find the time. You have to create the time and create a team to help you, because it's too much for one person to attempt to do all by themselves. So I had really great help. I had to interview people. So when I was in meetings, I could trust that what needed to be done was taken care of. And that was huge for me, because I like to make sure everything is done personally. And I knew I needed help. So I interviewed and found a loving, generous caregiver by the name of Josie. She's mentioned in the book as well. And she sat down with my mom. She painted her fingernails her favorite color. And she did things that I didn't even think to do. So it's been amazing planning outings for her to go to the park and to go get her hair fresh and done up nicely, and taking her places that she loves to go. In fact, her favorite game show is The Price is Right. Don't watch shows, and I started to watch them so that she would have some company. And it's coming to Atlanta. So I said, Mom, let's go to The Price is Right. So we got tickets and we're going to the live Price is Right next
Oh,
month.
oh
And
my gosh. Oh my God, that's so exciting.
I hope she wins too.
Oh my God, I hope so too. Yeah, we're gonna have to see pictures, videos, and is it Drew Carey that does it? No.
Yes,
Okay.
Arian. So much fun. We're
Oh my
gonna have
God. Exactly, Lisa. Come on down. All right, we're gonna watch. We're gonna look for you. Gosh, I'm like, yeah, I always, of course, I want just the trips, like when they get to the final stage, like, yeah, yeah. Wow, I mean, what you're sharing, right, is just like how you almost have to be a CEO and think about team and think about time and think about trust when you're needing to manage your career and care for a loved one. Like, it is creating a structure of support. And I just love hearing how, even your interview process to find the right person, which you so clearly did, right? She made the book, like you found the right person to be on your team and support your mom, knowing like, yeah, you couldn't do it all. So beautiful.
play.
Mm.
Hmm.
In your chapter and what you're sharing right here, you talk about creating simple habits, walks and sunlight and nutrition, and how important all of that is. And in our introduction, we introduce you as best-selling author, caregiver, but also wellness coach. So tell us a little bit more about maybe what sparked your own personal interest in wellness, and what you found to be true for yourself and as you work with others, of how people can really be more well, which we're all looking to do.
Absolutely. I've been fascinated with health and wellness as long as I can remember. In fact, my role model growing up was my pediatrician, Dr. Latham. And I loved how sweet and caring she would take time to ask questions and explain things on a level that I could understand. And I remember thinking, I'd love to do that one day for other people. So after I graduated from high school, I chose to matriculate to Emory University to study biology, where that was my major. And I loved it, learning about what the body can do and what happens when something's missing, and to really push myself to be the healthiest that I can be and share my knowledge with other people.
Mm.
So that was the spark that ignited this journey. And then I get phone calls from relatives. I don't feel well. Can you take me to the doctor? Can you do this? Can you do? I was always a yes. And I learned something every experience. I learned more. And it really pushed me to see what else I could do. So I started exercising. I started looking at ways to lose weight because in college I gained, the freshman 15. I was like, I got to get rid of this from all that pizza and processed food. And I realized that when I started eating lean and clean, I felt better. So I started exercising and going outside daily. And I realized the impact is huge. It's amazing. So when the pandemic hit, I realized most people were confined indoors. And I said, well, what would happen if I went for a walk every day? And I noticed a boost in my energy, a boost in my metabolism. And I just felt so much better. So I incorporated that first thing in the morning. I would be outside walking, fresh air, playing with the birds and the dogs and just having a great time. And I realized how important vitamin D really is. So I then encouraged my mother and other relatives to go outside, just sit outside for 20, 30 minutes and see what happens. And they all thank me for that suggestion.
Oh my gosh. I mean, everything that you're sharing is bringing so much up for me right now. Like for me, it was definitely like the college 30, thanks to like Natty Light, Dominoes, and like, not feeling happy a lot of the time. And then also this, I really appreciated actually the time change this week and this summit, because it means like from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., it's still dark out, but it's like it's dawn, but it's not that early, right? And it just like being out at that time and seeing the sunrise and like feeling that early morning energy has been the like mood shift that I needed. And
Yeah.
like vitamin D, especially with like the pandemic, it's proven to be like one of the most important things that we need, that we like all kind of forgot. And there's apps now that can show you when's the best time to be outside based on your latitude. You can take supplements. Yeah, so all the vitamin D, all the walks, like we have to do this for ourselves. It matters so much.
We deserve it. And staying hydrated also is important. I didn't realize until I took a test and realized I was dehydrated. And most people are dehydrated and don't even know it. And the body works so much better when you have fluids, when you have water. So I highly recommend that we drink water throughout the day. And I have to do that as well.
What as I think about again, like your chapter being this thread through history and through time and all of these incredible women, and I think about the legacy that we're all leaving by sharing our stories in this way. As you look at the year ahead, I mean, you've been through so much personal change and personal transformation. You've been showing up to do big things. The rest of this year, like, what are you hoping to do? Who are you hoping to become? Like, what does it look like for you moving forward and now moving out in the world as really a representative of this great leadership awakening?
Well, I've been so inspired working with both you and Linda Fisk and all the other authors that I decided to write a book. And
Hey, what breaking news?
I go from wanting to write a book to being a part of a global movement, writing a book, and now launching my own book. So I am truly elated to share more about the journey that I've been on and really focusing on health and wellness.
Mm.
Because it's so critical to success, to enjoying life to the fullest. So I'd like to share, particularly on a cellular level, things that people can do that they might not think about that's critical to really overcoming pain, preventing pain, really staying focused on what matters while you're at the age that you are now. I tell people don't wait till 70, 80, 90 and beyond. When you're young, that's the best time to implement all these strategies to prevent things from happening and not just sitting back waiting on sickness. You can be healthy at any age. I love meeting people, oh my gosh, that are so healthy in their 70s, 80s, 90s. It's just so inspiring. I saw where a young woman who's 98 just ran a marathon, and I just got so happy. I wanted to meet her, high five her, and let her know she is doing it right.
All right, hashtag life goals. Because I haven't haven't been inspired yet to write a marathon, but I do think it's one of those things that like, yeah, I'll just wait till my 80s, you know, like I need a new challenge every decade. That's so fun.
And
Um, what, if your great grandmothers were here, like right now and witnessing you and this beautiful moment, what would you say to them?
oh, I know they give me a big hug and smile and let me know how proud they are that I've been doing what they taught me to do. I'll never forget one year to celebrate all of them. I had a dinner. This was about 20 years ago. And I invited them all to just the women to have dinner in my living room. And I had over 500 years of wisdom sitting at the table, and they all shared nuggets of wisdom. It was just so good. And I wish I had recorded it. And it was 20 years ago. And I have it in my heart forever.
Mm.
As just seeing how they live their lives to the fullest. They loved every day, and they just simple things made them happy. And I've learned so much from them that I can benefit for the rest of my life and share it with others so they too can appreciate the wisdom of my grandmothers.
Mm. Um, wow, that just like really, really touched me thinking about that offering that you made for your family and bringing them together and to sit with that wisdom. And yeah, I mean, you just gave me a whole idea for this summer. I'll be back in New England, where both of my grandmothers live, and just the opportunity to more intentionally spend time with them and like ask those questions and access those stories and record some of it.
Yes.
Yeah, it feels like you just kind of told me that's like what I need to do. It's like been within me, and it's like, oh, okay, no, now. And they deserve a call today, but also, yeah, like the voice, hearing someone's voice too and being able to savor that, just oof, yeah, that matters.
Uh, it's priceless. Yes, Dr. Victoria, it is priceless.
Aryana, before we wrap today and close out this interview, and I'm so excited to hear that you're writing your own book. We want to hear more from you. I mean, even just these additional stories I didn't know coming out of this conversation that aren't even in this book. It's like, yes, we want more. But I know you're going to a women's empowerment summit tomorrow. And so you're out in the world, you're connecting with so many people. What do you feel like is you mentioned wellness, but like what is your message to women right now?
This is our time. It's our season to
Mm.
utilize our gifts, to share them with others, and really unapologetically succeed like never before. And I'm so excited to be in the presence of great women.
Mm.
The women of this book, the women that I'm will be networking this weekend at the summit, they're serious about the calling on their lives, about the mission to make the difference. And
Mm.
I'm honored to be in the presence of this great leadership awakening. And I can't speak enough about it. It's amazing, incredible, and I'm truly grateful.
I it is our time, and you use the word who are serious. And I think that's true. And that's actually what's so special about this group is like we're serious and we're about fun. We're soul and we're excellence. We're powerful and grounded. We're fire and heart. Like we get to be all of this. And like I feel so inspired by you where it's like I want to be around women who are serious, but not serious solemn, serious of like, no, I'm on a mission. And when you're on a mission, you get to have fun with it. So it's almost like I feel like you can't have fun if you're not like a little passionate or serious about something, because then you're like kind of flatlined, like we're just kind of going through the motions. Um, so I love that you use that word, like it just sparked something within me, and it reminded me of who I want to be spending time with. It's both.
Yes, I agree.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your story, for sharing just so many beautiful things off the cuff here that have me fired up and like motivated for the rest of this day. You know, right when the energy is starting to lag in the summit, it's like you turned it back on for me. Yes. And I want to thank our audience and our authors who have joined us live, who have been so supportive of this entire experience, the book, the women, the summit, the mission. And, you know, we're all here because we're hoping to spark and inspire the great leadership awakening within everyone, to walk the inner way of leadership, to get clear on our values, to feel grateful for the experiences that we've had throughout our lives, for the lessons that we've learned from family, for better and for worse. And Aryana, just thank you so much. Really appreciate you.
Thank you, Kaylee. It's been a pleasure.
You're so welcome. Thanks, everyone. So happy to have you here. And we'll see you at the top of the hour for Cindy Molina and Hawaiian at Heart. Thanks again.